Imagine living in a world with no poverty, no fighting, and no inequality. Everything works perfectly and everyone gets along. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, throughout history, people have tried to make this dream come true, creating what we call a utopia. But here's the question: why has no one ever succeeded? And is it even possible to create a perfect society, or are we just chasing an illusion? Welcome to Sapient Pulse. The idea of a perfect society has fascinated thinkers and dreamers for centuries. A place where every individual thrives, where social systems are flawless, and where equality and peace reign. It's a vision we often encounter in philosophy, literature, and even modern sci fi. But as inspiring as these visions are, history shows us that every attempt to create a utopia has crumbled. So, why haven't these grand ideas succeeded? And more importantly, can we learn from them? In today's video, we'll explore the allure of utopia, examine why it's so difficult to achieve, and question if a perfect society is even possible. The idea of utopia really started with people like Thomas More and Plato. In 1516, Thomas More wrote a book called Utopia, where he described a perfect island society with no private property, everyone sharing resources and living by a strong moral code. Similarly, Plato imagined a society ruled by philosopher kings, where everything was fair and just. These early ideas were born out of frustration with the way the society was at that time. People wanted something better, something that promised some peace and fairness. But there's the catch: these utopia didn't allow for much personal freedom. Everyone was expected to follow structure, to follow certain rules. And that's where things started falling apart. Because humans aren't exactly great at following rules that don't allow room for individuality. Psychologically speaking, these early works reveal a profound desire for order and fairness, but they also show how utopian societies often fall short by failing to embrace the messiness of human individuality. People, after all, are unpredictable and diverse with different desires, beliefs, and ways of thinking. Throughout history, several real world attempts have been made to bring these ideal societies to life. Let's take a look at two examples from the past to understand the challenges they faced. The Onida Community, founded by John Humphrey Noyes, hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but the Oneida Community was a radical social experiment that embraced communal living, shared property, and complex marriage, a system where everyone was married to everyone, in an attempt to eliminate jealousy and promote equality. That's kind of weird. But for a while, it seemed successful with its tight knit community and shared economic success. But over time, the system's rigid social structure, particularly the control over relationships, led to its downfall. What happened here is simple. The experiment highlights a tension that many utopian visions face: the clash between individual desires and societal rules. No matter how well intentioned a community might be, people's personal freedom and natural desires often conflict with the ideals of uniformity and control. The Soviet Union also tried to create a perfect society. The idea was to create a world where there were no classes. Everyone had the same amount of money and resources. But over time, the government started controlling everything. People had no freedom of speech or personal rights. The system didn't allow for individuality and eventually it collapsed. From a social perspective, this shows that large scale utopias struggle when they suppress personal autonomy in favor of collective codes. When individual identity and freedom are sacrificed for the sake of equality, people begin to resist. Let's discuss some of the utopian ideals in fiction. If you have watched The Hunger Games, you have seen a fictional utopian gone wrong. In the movie, the capital controls everything and people in the districts live in extreme poverty. The society tries to appear perfect, but it's built on extreme inequality. This shows us that utopias can easily go off rails when power is too concentrated in the hands of the few. Another great example is The Giver, where society tries to eliminate all the pain and suffering by controlling emotions and memories. The result? No one feels anything real. No joy, no pain, no love. It's a perfect but deeply soulless world. These stories teach us that in the pursuit of flawless world or society, we may end up sacrificing the very aspects that make us humans: our emotions, individuality, and the struggles that shape our growth. While the absence of conflict may seem ideal, it also removes the complexities that define life's richness. In the modern world, we see new attempts at creating better societies rather than perfect ones. Countries like Denmark, Finland, and Sweden are often described as near utopias, thanks to their high standards of living, social equality, and welfare systems. But even these societies face challenges: high taxes, managing immigration, and balancing personal freedoms with communal obligations are just few of the hurdles they encounter. These modern ideals, green cities, digital societies, and social democracies, are more realistic because they don't promise perfection. They aim to improve society incrementally, balancing individual rights with collective goals. The idea of perfect society may be unattainable, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to build a better one. The journey toward an ideal society isn't about creating perfection. It's about improving our systems to be just more flexible and more inclusive. The quest for utopia may always remain an illusion, but it inspires us to continually learn, adapt, and grow. Perhaps a perfect society is an illusion, but the pursuit of it teaches us invaluable lessons about who we are and how we can coexist. A perfect society may be impossible, but a better society is always within reach. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, please leave a comment below and also subscribe for more such content. Thank you.